Epic meltdown. Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching as always. Thank you for your subscriptions if you are subscribed, it is appreciated. There's a lot of people on the very online right and a lot of political commentators in the legacy media that get caught up on the race question, and they try to frame everything through that lens of race because it's an easy win for them if they want a gotcha from people from Restore Britain. And at the moment, there's a lot of people who get airtime on TV, like Charlie Downs and Monty Toms, who are sort of dilly-dallying around the race issue, understandably so, because they don't want to be framed as racist. Because the legacy media will pounce upon that and they'll say, well, look, they're only for white people. And that is a losing argument. And I say that as a Restore Britain member, and I say that because the prism that the debate is framed behind can catch a lot of people out, and a lot of people are afraid of being put in that category of being racist, even if they have legitimate concerns. Alright? I can think of two occasions recently, one on GB News, where we have a lady called Nana Aquia, and she tried to bamboozle Charlie Downs on national television by asking him a very direct question of, can she be British? He should have just answered the question and said yes. She has a British passport, she's been granted British citizenship, she's British, she has the documentation. And then there was another interview or a debate, and it was on Dan Wootton last week, and I think it was Kezia Noble who failed to win a seat for Reform UK in the local council elections. She tried to accuse again, or ask the question, will Restore Britain be fielding non-white candidates in elections? That's a loaded question, and it's a pressure point, and that's all they're doing is they're trying to expose a pressure point to Restore Britain. Now, me personally, don't debate in the frame or don't accept the conditions of the framing. You should just be rejecting the frame outright and say, well, how's that an issue? Restore Britain haven't framed a policy or set a policy on that, so why are you bringing it up? And Monty Toms has put this out today online, saying to be British is a collective ancestry and lineage dating back over 1,000 years. Again, it's quite nebulous, it's quite a safe answer. Me personally, as just a lowly Restore Britain member, I'm not actually involved in the party in any major way currently. I would reject the frame and just say, were you born here pre-1948? If the answer is yes, then you're as British as me, and if it's post-1948, then no, unfortunately not. Now, the unfortunately not may sound like a contradiction with Nana Aquia. Not really, because just because you're contesting her citizenship ancestry of being British, that doesn't mean she's not a paper Brit, for example. The 1948 framing is the crucial point. Pre-1948, to be British, you were born in the United Kingdom and you were of descent of these islands, either Scottish, Irish, Welsh or English. Post-1948, the nationality laws changed to invite former Empire and Commonwealth citizens to come over to Britain and give them a route to citizenship. We were never asked. This was done without a manifesto commitment or a referendum on the matter. So there was a dilution of the British citizenship done to the native population that nobody ever voted for. This is the framing that I would always choose. Frame it around democratic legitimacy. Nobody should be able to argue with that, and the catchment for that argument should be much broader than framing it as, well, we need more white people in London. Because it gives the legacy media the currency to attack you, not on the principles of your policy or the principles of you as an individual, but just by shutting you down completely and saying you're a racist. End of conversation. In short, what they've been doing for the past 40 or 50 years. Anybody, Gordon Brown, former Prime Minister, anybody, legitimate concerns about immigration, bigot, gammon, racist. So we're going to get to the clip now.
Morally reprehensible. Now you're kind of trying to act as if you didn't say it, but you did say it, so you could spend the rest of the day thinking about what you said and whether you meant to say it or not.
I do think that the anger driving the reform's popularity is real and understandable. It absolutely is. You know, because I like to go into London and be served by white people. I don't want to be served by... but it is a time and place for it, and I do feel that the country needs to be represented in a certain way.
Well, hang on a minute. Wait a second. You like to go into London and be served by white people.
This is the issue. I knew what the caller meant. She doesn't. Or she's being deliberately disingenuous to say, wait, hang on. You only like white people. You're racist. You're a bigot. Fact of the matter, before mass migration and before, as I mentioned, our nationality was diluted, post-1948, the vast majority of the peoples of the United Kingdom were white. That's just a biological reality. We're not near the sun. We're not near the equator. We don't have melanin in the skin. This is surface level stuff. This isn't particularly controversial for me to say. This shouldn't be a controversial issue. She is deliberately taking what he says at face value, when I personally understood what he meant, okay, because he's paraphrasing. Yes, the language is sloppy, and it allows the leftards and the liberals to attack you, so you need to be more strategic, alright? Native British, alright? You shouldn't have to go to London and play Spot the White Man. Again, what I'm saying here, this isn't controversial. It should not be controversial, that comment, Spot the White Man. That shouldn't be a controversial framing. That shouldn't be a controversial sentence to be uttered. But you get the people, like the hosts on the legacy media and LBC, that just look at the hatred festering in poor Vanessa Feltz here on LBC. As soon as he said white, she jumped on it. Oh, you're racist. This is what she's going to get to. Lest we forget, we've got a migrant, I think they're from Tamil. They've just been elected in the Scottish Parliament. They're trans non-binary, and they've not even got a permanent visa or right to remain in the United Kingdom, which they're currently funding. However, they said this a few years ago. Goddamn white people. And they also disrespected the late monarch, the late queen. Alright? So this person has got a big problem with white people in a predominantly white country like the United Kingdom. Shit-eating grin on their face. Would Vanessa Feltz, would she have a problem with him? With the goddamn whites? Would she have a problem with the Nigerians who have banned white people from their adverts in Nigeria? Would she have a problem with the way that the whites are being treated currently in South Africa, the revenge apartheid? Would she have a problem with that? Or is it just when the white man or the white woman has a problem with demographic replacements, or feeling like a foreigner in your own country, is that when she's got a problem? But I digress slightly. We'll continue with the clip.
Served what? Where? In a shop? Or what are you talking about?
I'll give you an example. You go into Leicester Square right now.
Yes.
You go into any business around you.
I am in Leicester Square. That's exactly, I've just been through it on the way to work. That's exactly where I am. So,
can you stop up into any store around there and see if the person who serves you, English is their first language?
But why would you care about that? Why would you mind if they're white or not?
The framing again. See, why would you care if they speak broken English, fluent English, or if English is the first language or not? Why would you care? Because people feel comfortable around their own kind. Again, this isn't controversial. It shouldn't be controversial. If you look at these silo communities that we've got all over Great Britain, why do all the Pakistani Muslims, why were they grooming white people or white children? If you look at the ghettoisation of our urban centres, whether that's Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow, London, you get separate demographics, black people, white people, Asian people, South Asian people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, what have you. They all live amongst their own kind. So there's very little assimilation going on in the United Kingdom. And I'm sorry if we've got a elder from Pakistan coming over to Britain with the Windrush generation 70 or 80 years later, and they've not bothered to learn a lick of English, then I would say that assimilation in that case has failed. Alright? So when Vanessa says, why should you care? I should be able to go into London or any urban centre in Britain and feel welcome, feel like as part of my country, one of my cities. The capital of the United Kingdom, the capital of England, is London. If you remove all the British people from London, or let's broaden the analogy slightly, if you remove all the British people from Britain completely and replace them with third world migrants from the subcontinent and Africa, if you just uniform remove one demographic with another, is it still England? Is it still Britain? I think very few people, if you thought about it for more than 2 seconds, would say yes, it is still Britain, yes, it is still England. This is what the Liberals, their minds, they don't really comprehend it, or they don't want to actually read the room and read where the conversation's going.
What I mean is this, right? What is the capital of England?
Well, we know the answer. Don't ask me a question that's inane that we already know.
No, because
And you've already asked me if I can imagine being in Leicester Square. The answer is yes, that's where I am.
Right.
So I'm just trying to say, having walked the path you suggest through Leicester Square, having stopped in a shop, which I have done, what difference does it make to me or to you if the person who serves me the mango is white? Why would I care about that? Why do you care? What difference does it make?
Well, they can't be Polish white, they can't be Russian white, I'm talking about a British white.
Why? What difference
You
does
go
it make?
to Thailand, you go to Bangkok.
Why don't you just answer the question? I keep asking one question. It's very basic. What difference does it?
See, the guy clarified as well, so he deliberately, he sort of backpedaled slightly. He's now made it not a race framing, because he says he would have a problem with the person if they were a black person from Nigeria, like I'm in Badenoch, or if it was a Polish white man. He would have the same problem. So he's got to the point of it's not really about race, which is correct, it's not really about race. It's about Britain still feeling like Britain, Wales still feeling like Wales, the United Kingdom remaining British, alright? That's the framing, and that's the way it should be framed. Remember why we voted for Brexit, alright? Europe is predominantly white, this isn't a race issue, it never was a race issue. How many British people need to be in Britain for it to still feel like Britain?
You see a person of that race, you see a person of that nationality, serving you loud and proud.
But the person serving me could well be British. They don't have to be white to be British, do they?
But they have to be British. There should be more British people that first language is English in certain areas.
This is why the framing around the demographic question, in my view, is still sensitive. Because if you want to win over the hearts and minds of your fellow countrymen, the framing needs to be on point. If you frame it, or allow your political opponents to frame it through the prism of race, they will use it to bludgeon you and just call you a bigot, a gammon, a racist, and end the conversation, nothing else to say here. Same thing that's happened for the past 50 years. Frame it around democratic legitimacy. Frame it around the elites having one rule for them and one for everybody else. Frame it along those terms, and frame it based on your terms. Frame it on your terms. Never cater to your political opponent's points of view. Never cater to their frame. You let me know. Do you think Vanessa Feltz was being deliberately disingenuous with the caller, or do you think she's completely correct? All opinions are valid as always. Like and subscribe, do all that great stuff. and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day and thank you as always.